my gorgeous brothers and sisters in Jesus, and all my sweet spiritual nephews and nieces out there, and all the other lovely children out there. I've got another story for you, and it's about a holiday, winter's holiday to Disneyland Paris. I don't know if any of you know Disneyland Paris. It's a theme park in France, and they got many wonderful many wonderful rides out there, and it's all the theme park of Disney and the Disney characters out there. Anyway, here's the story. Christmas was approaching. A few days before Christmas, children made a wish upon a star. Their dad asked them what they wanted for Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? Edgar said that he wanted a Christmas holiday to France. His younger sister, Abby, agreed. So they packed up their clothes and set off for their journey. The queue was so long when they reached the Uriel tunnel, but it soon went down. The brother Edgar smiled. I have wished upon a star for this day. Abby smiled back, and so did I. They finally got to the end of the queue, and the dad drove their car onto one of the travel trains. Their dad told them to stay in the car while he brought them breakfast. But no sooner had he stepped out the car when Edgar smiled. Come on, Abby, let's explore this train. Get out our torches and let's go for an adventure. Abby smiled and nodded in agreement. What is that smell? Asked Abby. Seawater, no doubt, Edgar replied. A few yards down, they came across a homeless man who had made his home on the train. He smiled. You need to go back to your dad. It's not safe for children to be here. Edgar asked, Why not safe? Never mind, said the homeless man, and the children walked past. But when they had looked back, they had realized that they journeyed too far away from their dad's car, and now all of them were lost. Edgar and Abby walked back to the homeless man. Excuse me, do you know where our dad's car is? The homeless man shook his head. Sorry, but I cannot help you. I can, however, take you on a journey. Where to? Asked the children, who replied, There's an invisible door that nobody but I can open, and it takes us into other worlds. My name is Uriel, said the homeless man, and I want to take you into another world. Cool, stated the kids in unison. This is my sister, Abby, and my name is Edgar. Nice to meet you. However, nobody had noticed but Uriel took the children to a secret door, and they walked through it. They were swimming beside Santa and the dolphins. Edgar asked, How can this be that we can breathe underwater and meet Santa at the same time? Uriel smiled. Santa and the angels heard you when you wished upon that star. You wanted to journey to France. I assume you were going to Disneyland, where dreams come true, right? Well, it was a wish from your sister to swim with the dolphins, which Santa and the angels also heard. So here you are, swimming the depths with the dolphins and Santa. But then Santa gave them a message. He told them, They should have listened to their dad. And to be good, if they want to be good, and put on the good list and not on the bad list. But he knew they made a mistake, but they had to make the mistake right. Uriel smiled, and with his magic 2 doors appeared before them. He asked, "Which door would you like to go through?" "One door leads you back to your dad, but the other leads you straight to Disneyland Paris." The siblings looked at each other, smiling, and Abby said first, "Well, I know that we want to go to Disneyland straight away, but we have got to think about our poor dad. He will be beside himself with worry." Edna said, "We can go back to our dad later. Let's have fun first." Uriel asked, "Are you sure?" The children in unison burst, "Yes." Uriel said, "Very well, but don't stay there for too long." The children went through the door, but instead of the door taking them to Disneyland, it took them into a damp, dark tunnel. Uriel had accidentally magicked up the wrong door. Uriel followed after them, crying, "I am so sorry, children, but I made a mistake, and you have entered into the tunnel of darkness instead of the Disneyland door." The children cried, "Let's get out!" But before they tried to turn back, the door had disappeared. "What are we going to do now?" cried Abby. "There is only one thing we can do," replied Uriel. Edna asked, "What is that?" Uriel replied, "Pray." The children replied, "Our dad takes us to church, but we no longer believe in God." Uriel replied, "You should start to believe in God again, because He is the one who is going to help us out." The children ignored the Urias and looked at each other with raised eyebrows. Uriel then gave them both a torch and asked them to keep walking until they reached the end of the tunnel. So they kept walking. Minutes passed, which changed into hours, and by this time they were hungry and exhausted. "I am tired," moaned Abby. "And I'm hungry," moaned Edna. Uriel replied, "Sorry, children, but we must keep going until we reach the end of the tunnel." Abby asked, "Are we lost?" Uriel sighed, "Yes, but let me tell you a couple of stories about being lost and found." They found a rock and sat on it together, and all huddled around. He smiled. "There was once a lost sheep, but the Good Shepherd left the 99 sheep and went towards the dangerous narrow path and high cliffs to try to find him. When he found him, he put him over his shoulder and took him back to safety with the other sheep." Edna replied, "Somebody told us that we are like that sheep who have wandered away from our faith, and the Good Shepherd, well, he is Jesus." Uriel smiled and nodded. Uriel then said, "But now we are all lost. Where are we now?" "Where we are now represents our hearts, lost but trying to be found." The children looked at each other, puzzled by what Uriel was trying to tell them, when suddenly the tunnel lit up. It was a beautiful sight with glittery lights and sparkles, and they saw all the sea creatures such as the whales, dolphins, turtles, jellyfish, crabs, lobsters, and fish. It's all of them swim past them. A whale stopped and stared at them, looking them straight in the eyes. "Why is that whale staring at us like that?" asked Edna. "Just wait," said Uriel. Then with a big tail it flipped a feast of fish through the tunnel. Abby asked, how did the fish get through the tunnel when the tunnel is made of solid matter? Uriel smiled. It is a good miracle. The three of them gathered the fish. Then the three of them gathered the fish, made a little fire, cooked and ate the fish. Birds, as in ravens and crooks, also had flown in carrying bread, jam, butter, and even cakes in their beaks, which they dropped off, and the gang had feasted upon them. Uriel smiled. Rest for a bit, but then we must walk on. They all slept and then woke up again. They walked on for a while, when water came gushing in. Run! Shouted Uriel. The three of them held hands, running frantically away from the rushing water. Up above they saw a hole in the tunnel. Uriel commanded, the three of us must jump, and the wind will take us through the sea. Then to safety. So, 1, 2, 3, and they jumped. Uriel said, listen, children, you might never see me again, but don't worry, because you'll be safe. As they jumped, they passed by the trains and cars. They heard some music that sounded like angels singing and playing instruments, but not yet had they known to mankind. They opened up their eyes and found themselves laying on a hospital bed. Their father was looking down on them, smiling. Abby asked, Daddy, where are we? The dad, with tears in his voice, explained, well, you was lost, but now you're found. Where's Uriel? Asked Abby. Who is he? Asked their dad. Edna explained, the man who took us through the tunnel. Their dad shook his head, saying, it is impossible for the two of you to have walked through this tunnel. Nobody knows how you managed to arrive at the tunnel's end before you were found by a French police and ambulance. After organising a search party for you on the train, the French police, doctors, and I believe that someone anonymous must have helped you on the train after getting lost from me by staying by you after you got lost and fainted. That they then took you off the train and then tried to look for me, but you could not find me. So this person may have called the police to come to you and then have left you after knowing that the police would take over from where they had left off looking after you. But then you both fainted after he or she left due to you being stressed and not being able to find me. But Abby shook her head, insisting, no, Daddy, that's not what happened at all. Abby's dad continued, darling, there are too many fast trains that would have run you over. Also, you could never see where you were walking in the dark. Plus, you came through the tunnel in just a few minutes, yet you think you were walking through the tunnel for days. Edna burst. Abby is right. We did walk through the tunnel, and it was for days we travelled. Their dad scratched his chin. Impossible. All of a sudden, the children saw Uriel walk into the hospital room. An elderly crippled French lady by the name of Beatrice was next to the children and their dad. The children smiled and burst, Uriel, while pointing their fingers towards the door entrance to where he was standing. Their dad shook his head, asking, why are you pointed to the door, calling out the name Uriel? Abby burst. He is the man that helped us, and he's just walked through the door. He was the man that helped us through the Eurotunnel. The dad replied, sweetheart, but nobody is at the door entrance. Beatrice's jaws dropped in astonishment as she shivered and then burst. What a beautiful angel! She was wheelchair bound, but she got up from her wheelchair and could walk again. The children's dad was puzzled. But I don't see either a man or an angel, he quizzed. Beatrice smiled, and she spoke in English, saying, "Believe and have faith." That is what you keep telling your children. Now you do the same. Their dad sighed. I guess you're right. Fine, in that case I believe. Abby and Edna looked at each other, saying, Abby said, "I know that we stopped believing in God, but Beatrice has proven that Uriel is one of God's angels who disguised as the man who helped us through the tunnel." Edna replied and nodded. "I agree. From now on we believe in God again, and we give him our hearts and lives." Uriel smiled as the new now appeared to them all as an angel, saying, "Yes, indeed, I am an angel, sent by God to help you through such a time as this." Beatrice's grandchildren, Billy and Sally, had then rushed into the room in its great excitement to greet Beatrice. They were so happy to see their grandmother being able to walk again. Their granddad was there with them, and they decided to go to Disneyland together with Edna, Abby, and their dad. They all disappeared before the astonishment of the doctors and nurses' eyes. One of the doctors saw Uriel, but the other doctors and nurses refused to believe that doctor and thought that the group had been kidnapped and taken hostage. But the group was suddenly in Disneyland, and it was filled with a wonderful winterland of endless magic, mystery, and beauty. It was a real fun place to be. They went on all of the roller coasters and rides and ate lots of candy between them. The four children soon became good friends. However, the doctors and nurses had called the police after they were spotted in Disneyland, but by one of the relatives of the nurses. The police arrived in Disneyland. He asked the gang, "Is it okay? Sorry, are you okay and are you safe now? You can tell me if anyone is holding you hostage." But Beatrice replied, "Nobody is holding us hostage because the angel took us here." "What angel?" asked the police. "Me, Uriel," burst Uriel. Uriel then glowed brighter than the sun, with a brilliant orange and gold colour. The three policemen could not believe their eyes at first, but one of the policemen who believed as a child, but who had wandered away from his faith, rekindled his faith again. Many people watching did the same. Others looked up to Uriel as he flew over the parades of the Disney characters. They did not rekindle their faith, but thought of it as part of the parade. But one of the most spectacular ever done ever in any Disneyland theme park. Either way, Uriel made a huge impact, and we, as Christians, know who Uriel really was and who really sent him. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed and was blessed by that. God bless and lots of love to you all. Have a lovely day. Bye.